Well, good morning, everyone. How are you? Hope you're having a great day. And nice to have you on live with us. And so as you get your notifications here, we'll say hello to some of our dear friends. And I know I miss people, but I really mean it. We love to say hello. Brahim, Mike, numero uno and tuo. Andrea, Niagara Falls, good morning. And I got my coffee too. You got your good for me coffee. Lori Lee, Sandy, and Kevin from Oshawa. Madeleine, how are you? And Nellie, our faithful. Nick from our staff. I make her watch this. No, I don't. Donna from Park Hill, Yalaun, bonjour. And Wendy from Markham. And Heather Miramichi. Jeanette, our staff. Doc McEwen. Nice to have you on, Doc. Linda. And Lisa Marie. Gary from Bolton. Joyce from Kansas. And Keith, how are you? Shirley. And Barbara. And Deb, good morning. And Mary from Norwich. Fran from Orangeville. And Linda, oh, those Linda from Chatham. Roma, how are you? Catherine. And Sharon, Kansas. And Eleanor from Burlington, Ontario. David, Jensen Beach, Florida. Wanda, good morning. Maria, Bruno, and Vince, good morning, guys. We thank you for coming on with us. Jean, how are you? Vera from Newfoundland, and Francis from Vaughan, Beverly, and Leela from Verner, and Norma, Texas. Janine, West Kelowna. Wow, bright and early. Rosemary. Maureen, Penticton, British Columbia. And Rose. Alma, Sudbury. Linda, those Lindas. And Doug from St. Thomas. Dave, Muskoka. Beautiful. Regina. And Chantal, Ottawa. And Herma from Burlington. Bonnie, how are you? Two more. Elaine, St. John's, Newfoundland. And Rita, good morning. And Sandy, Chilliwack, British Columbia. Okay, now. Okay, there's a couple of things I wanted to do. Let's start, guys, again. I posted something yesterday about the nutrients in steak, okay? And guys, you know, I got like a one-track mind, but it bothers me. I get so much, not from my audience as much, but just from people about, are you sure, eggs, meat, and cheese? Are you sure, Doc? Because there's so much pushback against it. And listen, somebody, said, somebody said over the weekend, and look, this is why we really love our private Facebook group, because people ask questions within the group, okay? And one lady came on and I appreciated it. She said, look, people are asking, okay? Some of her friends, they're skeptical. Is Dr. Martin legitimate? Well, I don't know about legitimate, okay? But guys, listen. When I talk to you, I don't even want to say it's my opinion. I hate the word to some extent now because it's been hijacked, the word science, okay? The science is in, therefore you can't argue, okay? A lot of people are like that. Oh, the science. Well, they're not really talking about science. They're talking about a political or whatever opinion, and they don't want any arguments pushing back against us. Science, the definition of science is observation. And therefore, science is never really settled. I mean, if you show me new information, I'm going to read it. But guys, listen, okay? My expertise in natural medicine, in nutrition, okay? You got to look at what we know. And what we know about steak, for example, when I say sun, steak, and steel, okay? I hope you like that title. You know, I mean it. Why? Because you just look at the nutrition. Okay? Now this morning, this is in my book, by the way, but I just want to go over this because a lot of people, you know, again, red meat is acidic, red meat causes cancer, steak is no good. It's the opposite, guys. And I know to a lot of extent I'm preaching to the choir this morning, but you guys, you know, it's rinse and repeat and give you information. Guys, there's nothing on the planet that is more powerful than steak. Okay? Now, maybe liver, but you know what I mean by that. There's nothing more powerful nutritionally. There's just nothing. Like even an egg. Egg is good. You know me and eggs. I call it like God's perfect food. An egg. Fantastic. But it doesn't have the amino acid profile that even steak has. Okay? And if you go into my book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, I talk about 5 C's. There's a lot more in steak than that, but let's talk about those this morning. We'll just go over them quickly because, again, it's the pushback. It's, you know, people have an agenda, and I'm sure some well-meaning people, but they're wrong. You can't go wrong with steak. And I'm going to give you 5 C's. Why? Okay? We already know about B12, right? We talked about that till the cows come home, metaphorically. You can't get B12 in the plant kingdom. If you could, it's only good for mice, not for you. You need red meat. You need steak. You need hamburger. Okay? You need it. Pork, yeah, not quite as much, but you need it. It's good for you. Okay? And if you don't get these 5 C's, you're in trouble. Your body, it's not like you're going to drop dead immediately, but you're deficient. Why would anyone want to be deficient? Okay? Now, let's start with creatine. Okay? Creatine. You know what they're showing? Like, you should see the studies on creatine. Okay? And a lot of people take it as supplements. They want to build muscle. Creatine. And the reason that creatine is so effective, even for muscle, is because of mitochondria. Think creatine, think mitochondria. Battery packs within the brain. You got about 2,000 battery packs up there, especially in the memory center. Well, creatine's good for memory. Creatine, ask a weightlifter. People that go to the gym, a lot of times will use creatine as a supplement. I'd rather eat steak because it's found in steak. A little bit in eggs, a little bit in cheese. But creatine, it's so good for you. Okay? It's 1C. I didn't put them in order, by the way, just the way I spell it out. Creatine. Like I said, a lot of people take it as a supplement. And certainly, if you're, a vegetarian or people that don't eat red meat or whatever, you got to tell them they need to supplement with creatine. But it's in your steak. It's in your steak. And I know it's expensive, and I get that. But guys, I just got to tell you the nutrition profile of a piece of steak. Roast beef. Hamburger. It's not the hamburger that kills you. It's the bun. Whenever you look at flour, okay, you look at flour, think of sugar. Well, Dr. Martin, it's 12 grain. It don't matter. It's sugar holding hands. Sugar molecules holding hands. That's all it is. It's going to be sugar rapidly. Okay? So don't fool yourself with it. Man shall not live by bread alone. Okay? And today we live in a different age, and the bread is even different. I talk about that because it's super processed. Bread today has really become a fast food. It was one of the first fast foods that was invented. And because man changed the way they made bread. And they instead of using the rollers and, pounding the bread, they use rollers for mass production. And they take the wheat and they took the living stuffing out of it. And that's why they had to, back in the 1930s, would put vitamins back in bread because there was none left. It was a fast food. Anyway, what am I talking about bread for? I wanted to talk about the 5 C's. Rabbit trail. I always go down them, okay? Now, the second one, choline. Now, you think choline, okay? If I gave you a little quiz, my audience is the smartest in the universe, okay? So if I gave you a little quiz, you're thinking choline, you go eggs. You're right. There's a lot of choline in eggs. But there's a lot of choline in steak too. Sun, steak, and steel. Sun, steak. Red meat, a steak. And again, roast beef, hamburger. I don't care how you like your red meat. Okay? And usually I will include like salmon. Okay? There's choline. Choline, think of brain. Acetylcholine. Think of the synapses in your brain, the neurotransmitters. Okay? And if you're low, if you don't eat eggs, meat, and cheese, you are going to be super low in choline. Why would anybody want to do that? I can't understand that. Choline is not found in the plant kingdom. Neither is creatine. It's not in plants. You can't get it from plants. Oh, Dr. Martin, there you go again about plants. Well, I'm just telling you, it's inferior kingdom. Animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, fruits and vegetables. And then you have man's kingdom of food, processed foods, Man-made foods, the middle aisles of your grocery store, hydrogenated oils, vegetable oils. That's man-made, guys. That's not in nature. Those are man-made. They're made in a lab by the food industry. Red meat, steak. So when I say steak, you know what I mean now. Okay? When I say steak, you think choline. You think creatine. A choline, your brain doesn't work properly without choline. And again, it's not like you're going to fall over and die at the moment you don't eat it. It's just that your brain becomes deficient. It's one of the reasons we see so much neurological problems. Because there's not enough choline in the diet. People don't eat enough eggs or steak. They don't. I feel sorry for kids that are brought up on Netflix and they see the garbage on there. We're so smart and yet we're so sick. We're smart. Man, there's so much information out there. It's crazy. Yet we're so sick. Why is that? Because of misinformation. Boy, it's hard to get people. Every day I read about people and they're all uptight about cholesterol. Man, did that ever take root. Yesterday I mentioned this. The hijacking of medicine. Hijacked. They were hijacked by the pharmaceutical companies. Hijacked. You go to medical school and they teach you that cholesterol is the bad guy. Holy moly. Do you forget your biochemistry? You can't live without cholesterol, and you can't live without another C. Well, you won't live well without choline. Your synapses in your brain need it. The electrical grid that's in your brain needs choline to work properly. Carnosine. Okay? Carnivore. Where do you find carnosine? In red meat. In steak. Carnosine. Very important. C. Okay? And it's what we call, I just read a study on it, I think yesterday, on the effects carnosine has on anti-aging. It's sort of an anti-aging nutrient because it goes against, I don't want to get into the weeds too much, but it goes against glycation. Now remember what glycation is. Okay? Glycation is advanced, end products. And I'll give you an example. You know when you get your A1C tested? Okay? Doc, what is that? Well, it's the best way to measure, in my opinion, the best way to measure insulin resistance is A1C. And what happens, sugar, it attaches to a red blood cell, to the hemoglobin, and it glycates that red blood cell. It ages it. Well, red blood cells are going to die anyway, but it hooks onto it. And you can measure it. And if your A1C is up, you know that your insulin resistance is up. Your sugars are up. There's too much sugar in your bloodstream. And you know, guys, you know this, how destructive sugar is to your blood. Very destructive. To your blood vessels, Your body don't want sugar to be high. It will do anything. I read an article the other day. You know me, I've used this illustration about you eat 20 donuts. Don't do it. It's been done. Just don't do it. You eat 20 donuts, and within a couple of hours, you can take your blood sugar and it'll be back to within normal limits pretty well. If you empty out your 5 liters of blood, okay? 4 to 5 liters of blood. At any given time, you're going to have less than a teaspoon of sugar in there. Why is that? Because sugar is so... Your body is smarter than the world out there. The world says, moderation. Your body says, nah, don't give me sugar. I got to get rid of it. It cannot stay in the bloodstream. That's called glycation. And sugar glycates to protein. It attaches to protein and it ages you. Your skin. Okay? Your skin. Your muscles. They age. And look, we're all aging. Okay? Some more than others. But I'm telling you, sugar glycates. Sugar is destructive, especially high fructose corn syrup. Man-made sugars. Okay? Now, carnosine. It helps to protect your body against glycation. That's why you want to eat steak. Steak doesn't rot in your gut. That's craziness. Steak doesn't rot in your gut. Your body goes, goody, goody gumdrops. You ate the right foods. I'm now getting creatine. I'm now getting choline. I'm now getting carnosine. An amino acid that is anti-aging. You want to slow the aging process down? Eat steak. It's anti-aging. A lot of people pay a lot of money to get Botox and to, I saw a woman on TV the other day. You can spot them a mile away. Their lips are bigger than the face. And they look like Frankenstein. I can't stand it. You got the biggest lips in town. Botox and I can't handle it. Okay. Don't get into the weeds. Carnitine. Okay? There's carnosine and there's carnitine. Another C. Found in steak, not found anywhere else. Well, you can get them in eggs and cheese too. It's in the animal kingdom, but really high on steak. Why do I like L-carnitine? Okay? You know what steak does when you eat steak? L-carnitine? You know what it does? It helps to turn your fat and burn it. Dr. Martin, do you have anything that burns fat? Yeah, steak. Because it's got L-carnitine. Guys, I did so much research on amino acids. And that's why I couldn't, in good conscience, be a vegetarian. I could never, ever. Vegan, vegetarian, I couldn't do it. I couldn't tell my patients, that's good for you. I couldn't do it. It's against my belief system because of the studying I've been doing for years. And I've been consistent, guys. You must make the animal kingdom foods your priority. And this is why I say you can eat fruits and vegetables, don't live on them. That's my expression. Don't live on them. They're not meant to be lived on. You can have them. God made plants. God made fruit. They're his candies. You can't live on them. And we live in a different age today because of propaganda, and people believe nonsense. And it's part of cholesterol is bad. Man, when I was a kid, cholesterol, what are you talking about? Even when I was in school, in the 70s, cholesterol wasn't really the boogeyman yet. It was, people were starting, and the gurus were out there, and because they love cereal. And even in the 70s, they were trying to get us away from eating butter, and margarine was coming on the scene, and Procter and Gamble. And I was sitting there going, are you kidding me? Here I am, taking nutrition, and you learn about cholesterol is only found in the animal kingdom, and your body needs cholesterol, and then you get these gurus coming in and telling people, well, you know what, you better cut down on that. Because it's causing heart disease. You know what? One guy said that. One guy. And he changed the whole world. That's why I call him a serial killer. I don't think he meant it. But I believe Ansel Keys has killed millions and millions of people, slow death, because he started the cholesterol hoax. And then they combined with Dr. Kellogg's, who was a vegetarian. And he was instructing, and his school was instructing nutritionists or dietitians. They weren't even called that at the time. And they came out and they all learned the same thing. Cholesterol, bad. Animal kingdom, bad. Guys, it wasn't based on science. It was like a religion. I feel sorry for people today. I talked to a guy the other day who told me, well, I don't eat any animal food. And you know what? I don't want to get into an argument. I don't. I like arguing, but I don't. Because you know what? When people have made up their mind, I said, well, you want to listen to my podcast, the Doctor Is In podcast? Yeah, I'm interested. He didn't know what I said. Well, listen to it. I'm not going to fight with you. You're already convinced. I'm not fighting with you. I used to do that with my patients. They come into my office. I'm going to give you a plan to succeed. I'm going to send you home with a diet. Oh, Doc, I thought you'd send me home with a pill. Well, I might give you a few supplements. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to live on the animal kingdom. Mostly. For 30 days to start off, because you're in bad shape. You're on the Titanic and I got to get you off of it because I measured your insulin and it ain't good. So we got to fix that. If we don't fix it, you're in deep trouble. You're in deep doo-doo. So I'm going to send you home with a diet. Okay? Got it? You got to eat right. Got it? And there were some people that you could see it. Their eyes were glassing over, meaning they weren't getting the memo. You know what? What could I do? You know what I used to tell them? I can't go home with you. I can't do it for you. You got to do it. And I said, because you came to my clinic, and I know I'm talking differently than 99% of all physicians, but I'm telling you, it's the one thing you can do is you can go home and change your diet. You can do this. And many of you listening to me today, I know that for a fact. That's how I talk to you, because you saw me in my office. When it came to nutrition, it was quite simple. Make the animal kingdom the number one kingdom in terms of food in your life. Because we're going to deal with some severe problems and you need to fix them. Okay? Anyway. But I couldn't go home with people. You got to implement the changes, not me. I'm giving you information. And you got choices to make with that information. You got the information, you got the plan. Now what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? And then fifthly, let me finish. I was only going to do part of a program on this, on the 5 C's. Okay? CoQ10. Now, CoQ10 has become famous. Okay? Isn't that funny, eh? That things become famous. It's actually become famous because of the pharmaceutical industry. It's one thing they don't readily admit it, but they will admit it. That when you take a statin drug to lower cholesterol, one thing we know for sure, it destroys your CoQ10. Okay? It destroys your CoQ10. And CoQ10 is absolutely needed in every mitochondria, every battery pack that you own in your body. Okay? You're an electric vehicle, by the way. Okay? You are. You're run by batteries. Okay? Your brain, your heart, it's a battery pack. Mitochondria, 5,000 batteries within your heart, in the muscle, in your heart. Your heart's a muscle. Oh, I didn't know that, Doc. Yeah. Isn't that funny that one of the biggest things on statin drugs is it destroys muscle, rhombolithiasis. It destroys CoQ10. Well established. Gets rid of your CoQ10. Now your body makes CoQ10, but it makes more when you eat steak. And CoQ10, your battery packs won't work properly without them. Think batteries. CoQ10 are your charging system of your battery packs. You think it's important? And only when you eat red meat, steak, really, a little bit of eggs, cheese, okay? It elevates your CoQ10. Why would you not eat that? 5 C's. Found in steak. CoQ10. I don't think I forgot any other C's. There's 5 that I know of. Not even talking to you about taurine and other amino acids that are essential, found in the animal kingdom. Guys, I preach it, I preach it, I preach it. So when you hear the other side, and you're going to hear lots of it, well, God gave you a brain. Okay? You decide. A lot of propaganda out there. Okay? A lot of propaganda. Okay, guys, we got a great week coming. Okay? More studies. Oh, I got a couple of real good ones that I wanted to bring out, and we will do that, Lord willing. And Friday is what? Question and answer Friday. We have to go question and answer Friday and question and answer Monday because we had so many questions. I don't always get to all of them, but I will get to them. Sometimes it takes me 2 programs, but that's all right. We want to answer your questions. We really do. So don't be shy. Ask questions. You want information? Ask questions. Okay? Ask questions. Wouldn't it be nice? And I know a lot of you have doctors. You can ask them any question they want. I like that. I don't like doctors that don't say, you know what, you get one question. I remember my daughter worked at a walk-in clinic, a nurse. And they said, you get to ask 1 question, not 2. Yikes. That's not medicine. You get to ask 1 question, not 2. Ah! Questions. Okay? I used to have a session in my office once I saw my patients. Okay? And I gave them a plan. I got all their results and blah, blah, blah. Then I go, you got any questions? Look right in their face. Got any questions? And if you do, and you didn't ask them today, you ask them. That's why we're here. Okay? We're here to answer your questions. Our staff will answer your questions. When they don't have the answer, they ask me. Okay? Love you guys. Talk to you soon.